Okay. It's okay. I'm back with another video, and I'm doing something different now where I'm trying to do interviews as well. So today we'll be learning about a lot of things. Aren't you? You're going to be touching up on business and credit and everything like that, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
you're going to be learning a lot. So just make sure you get your notebooks and your tablets and your pens and pencils, and stay tuned. So and you want to introduce yourself and your
Yes.
YouTube?
Okay. So my name is Andre Kennedy. I'm 28 years old. My birthday was in December, so shout out to the
Well, happy birthday!
thank you, thank you. Yeah. So I just turned 28, and I'm a young aspiring entrepreneur. I started my journey as a landscaper. So it all started. I was young. I was about 16 years old, and
Wow.
I had a dream and a vision to go out and my family growing up, the situation wasn't necessarily where we had everything we wanted, and
Right.
you grow up in the school environment, you see kids with the new sneakers, you see everybody coming in with the new latest fashions, the Jordans and everything, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to partake in the nice things that are on the earth, so I
Yeah.
always wanted to go above and beyond, and I decided that I wasn't going to solely depend on my parents to be able to provide my needs, and take
Yeah.
things that I necessarily wanted and not what I needed, right? So I had to go and find extra money on my own. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to put in the sweat equity, and I'm going to go out, I'm going to go door knocking, and I'm going to try to get some yards. So I took my
Wow.
lawnmower out, and I began providing a service for my local neighborhood, and it now has blossomed and bloomed to where we have multiple customers within the area, all from just door knocking, having that ambition, going out, saying, hey, we can cut your lawn, whether it be $20, $15, depending on the yard size. We've been servicing a lot of people. And then not only that, but we do it on a bi-weekly basis. So, the season, it allows us to have that reoccurring income every 2 weeks where we're able to, service our equipment, and just really, expand our landscaping business. So, yeah, so a young aspiring entrepreneur, started ground up, and, just took that hustle and that ambition and went out and just started acquiring customers. Now, like I said, we've had a beautiful season this past season, cutting grass, but now we're getting into winter season. We've done a little bit of snow removal. Recently, we've posted flyers in the New Kensington page, which is our local area and everything. So we've been getting flyers out, but just growing the business and expanding has been, a very, very detailed journey, I could say.
Well, I think it's dope that, first of all, that you started at 16 years old, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in here that can relate to like growing up like that, where you didn't have the money. Well, your parents didn't have the money to get the things you wanted like everybody else did. So
Right.
that shows a lot about your character at that age. Go get it. That's awesome.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so
So,
maybe if you didn't go through that when you was younger, maybe you wouldn't have pushed to have your own business. So I think that's like a really cool thing.
right, right. Yep, yep, yep. So,
Okay, so would you say?
no, yeah, I'm loving the lawn care industry. It's treating us really well. I can't wait for this upcoming season. So yeah, look out for Kennedy's Lawn Care.
All right, we'll make sure we look out for you. And if you have any like description, any links or anything, you can send them to me, and I'll put them in my description as well for them.
For sure. Yeah.
So my first question for you is, what advice would you give someone who has bad credit or no credit? What can they do to improve that credit score?
Right. So another side of what I actually do is we actually teach the young aspiring entrepreneurs, such as myself, who went out and had the hustle and the ambition, to go out and door knock. Now we're teaching them how to manage it, right? We're teaching them how to really
Okay.
manage their funds and their finances, how to actually go out and turn that door knocking business into a legitimate business and getting registered with the state, getting your
Okay.
LLC, getting your EIN number and everything like that. So then you can start, establishing business credit, right? And a lot of people don't understand that you can actually build your personal credit, which is your personal, social security number. It's attached to your social security number. But you can also establish what is known as business credit. And this is how a lot of people get funding to, you know, invest in that equipment, such as their lawnmowers or their riding mowers, or, you know, whether they're getting the big dump trucks or anything of that sort. You know, it all starts with really your personal credit and being able to build that and learning, you know, the necessary formula that makes up your credit score, right? So we've been teaching a lot of the young aspiring entrepreneurs how to maximize their personal credit. So whenever they go to acquire their LLC and they go to acquire business funding, they're already set up from the jump. Because if you set up your personal credit score correctly, you're going to set yourself up for long-term investing capital down the road. So, you know, we definitely teach that within our academy. I've created an academy where, you know, I teach the young entrepreneurs such as myself, you know, because I didn't really have a mentor or somebody, you know, overshadowing me and teaching me these things as I was growing up. So we have a website, it's called dazzlu.com, where, you know, we offer a membership subscription. It's $20 a month, and they're actually able to enroll and in the course that I have created on a digital platform. It's on my website. You're able to actually go through and acquire the same credit cards and the method that I took in order to get to where I'm at, as far as having 20 plus K in capital to be able to leverage at any given moment, you know, and being able to do that is a very powerful tool. And you can do that by acquiring forms of credit, lines of credit, right? So a lot of people don't understand that you could actually use that credit to leverage it for businesses and startups, you know, and things like that. But that's what we're trying to make people aware of, you know, and that's what we're trying to bring to the culture, to the people, and let them see there's a smart way of making money too, right?
So then you say that you could get credit through business, right? So you can have two separate
Yes.
credits. So it wouldn't affect your personal credit. It would just
No.
be the business side.
Yes, correct, because it's attached to your EIN, which is a separate entity. You know, when you become a business owner, you actually put on two hats. You know, you're a personal, which is your personal finances, what you're doing on your personal, whether you work your 9 to 5 or whatever that might be. But then you also put on the hat as an entrepreneur, as the business owner, and you manage that aspect of it from the EIN standpoint rather than looking at your social security number standpoint.
Okay.
So you become two separate entities and you manage them as such. And that's how, you know, the rich are able to take advantage of a lot of these different tax strategies and things like that, because they're separating themselves from their business, and their business is enabling them to then write off things such as business expenses.
Right.
And you can maximize your deductions when it comes to taxes. So, you know, it's a lot of
There's a lot to it.
it's a lot to learn. And that's why, you know, we created that atmosphere and that group and that membership subscription for people to get in, learn, educate themselves on what it is to actually go into the entrepreneur route, and, you know, utilize methods to track your expenses, such as QuickBooks. You know, you definitely want to take that little nugget there, QuickBooks,
Yeah.
and to be able to really manage your business and, you know, maximize what you're able to do, because taxes, you know, kill everybody a lot too when it comes on the back end. You know, you don't realize how much you actually owe from the money that you were making. But, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you take these things into account so that you move the right way. You know, you
Right.
calculate your certain expenses as business expenses, so then you can then later write them off. So yeah. So
Okay. And I've seen one of your YouTube videos. I'm not sure which one it is. You were talking about real estate. Did you invested in real estate,
yes,
right?
yes, I am.
So what are some steps you can take to do that, like to invest in real estate? I'm sure people want to know that.
Yeah. So so along with, you know, having your active income, right? Your 9 to 5 or whatever you're generating as your current business, you want to be able to run that through a system that's going to show the banks, such as credit, to show the banks that you're going to be able to manage a large amount of money, right? So
Okay.
When you're showing them this, you're going to go and apply for a mortgage, right? And that's how they're going to determine whether you're going to get approved for a mortgage or not, is based on your credit score. So
Okay.
we teach a lot about investing in different avenues such as real estate. Obviously that's a big avenue to be able to invest in. I just recently purchased my first property I'm living in now. We were able to get this for 15,000. It's a fixer upper.
That's
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah. So we were able to get this for 15,000. We locked in the property. Like I said, it's a fixer upper, but right now we're living in it, right? So it was able to be, light cosmetic issues. As you can see, we got to put a little light thing on the cover switch there, just little things. But we're working as we go to continue to bring up the property's value. But just being able to invest in real estate, having the knowledge is going to be building your credit. It's going to start with building your credit, because the banks are going to look at you to see if you're worthy to be lended to according to your credit score, right? So investing in real estate, there's many different avenues, many different ways to acquire those funds. But the best way I can recommend to somebody to invest in real estate is to start by building your personal credit, get familiar with the system and how loans actually work, so that you can get approved for a loan. Because when it comes to buying a house, it's really about the loan that you're going to get, right? Because you can get a 30-year fixed mortgage, you can get a 15-year mortgage. There's different type of loans based on how good you are as a borrower, right? Because they're going to charge you more interest on a account as far as your credit score. Let's say your credit score is really bad and you go apply for a mortgage, they're going to charge you more than they would have if you would have had a good credit score applying for that same loan, right? So yeah, so it's very important when you are educating yourself on credit, because it's like the foundation when it comes to entrepreneurship, and a lot of people don't understand this, and that's why we created that website and that organization, the community of people, young entrepreneurs, to be able to teach them how to build their credit and these avenues.
So let me ask you this. For those of the people who haven't been on the website yet, would you say a credit card is a good way to start, like to help build your credit if you have like low credit score?
Yes, and that's a very key point as well. So being able to start building your credit, right? It's funny because a lot of people say, well, how do I build credit if I need to get approved for something in order to, build my credit, to show them that I have some sort of account or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that you can actually get what is known as a secured credit card, right?
Okay.
Well, a lot of people do know, but what this involves is basically you putting upfront your own capital. So you can start as low as, let's say, $200. And this is all to, for somebody that is brand new, just building a credit profile. And this is what we recommend in our academy. So I'm giving you guys some beginner steps to start building.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm on the interview, brother. Love you too.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So yeah, so these are some of the beginning steps we talk about when building your credit, and acquiring, your first credit card initially. So you're actually going to want to get what is known as a secure credit card, and you're going to want to put up your own capital in order to create a relationship, right? You're going to create a relationship with a reporting agency, and these credit cards will report positive payment history. They'll report late payment history as well. But you're building that relationship, and when you purchase a secure card, it's no risk to the lender because you're putting up your own funds. So it allows you to really establish a credit score, and a good credit score at that, right? You're getting your foot in the door with providing your own funds to say, okay, I'm going to show you guys that I can manage this $200. And the proper way to do that is to keep on-time payments. So anytime you would make a purchase using that line of credit, let's say your $200 limit, you're going to want to make that purchase, but you're going to pay it back off within 30 days of making that purchase. So, a lot of people will pay off, a reoccurring bill that they might already be paying off anyways, or they might go and get groceries that they're normally going to purchase anyways. Instead of, buying like the luxury things like Jordans and things like that, that don't really put money in your pocket or bring value, you actually want to spend money on things that are going to bring you value. Now, so we talked about leveraging the funds, leveraging them into assets. So buying things that are going to produce you money. Let's say you might invest in a vending machine or something of that sort, right? Something that's going to bring you income, but that's going to allow you to not only show that you can pay that loan back off, but you're going to have reoccurring income building up your other income streams as well. So, we definitely talk about leveraging that credit instead of, spending it on unnecessary things. But yeah, the quickest way, get a secure card, make those on-time monthly payments, allow them to report to the credit bureaus. There's 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, which are the 3, biggest reporting agencies. All the credit cards will report to these agencies and let them know, okay, this person has on-time payments. They use under a 30% utilization, which is another key point. So let's say you had a $200 credit limit. You want to spend under 30% as utilization on that credit card. And if you keep that good, positive history, good flow of payments, you can actually build up to 700, 800 plus scores. And you could do that with just one card. It's going to take some time, but it's an average of all the positive history that you're building on your credit profile. So, over time, you can really establish a solid credit score and be able to show these banks that, you're good at managing money. And that's the whole game here, is being just basically worthy of being lended to. Because if you can be that, you can get a large amount of capital and be able to just manage that money, right?
So you can do more. But let me ask you,
Yeah.
what about the people who don't got good credit and they're trying to redeem themselves? Maybe they made bad decisions in the past,
Yeah.
and they want to redeem themselves, and they have like 300-400, credit score.
Right. So
What do you do?
So the best thing I would say, for people who have got themselves in a ditch, for people that have really jeopardized their score at an early age, or got things that they shouldn't have at early on, and really put their score in jeopardy, maybe might be in the 300s, 400s. The one thing about credit is it can be repaired. With the credit agencies or with the credit bureaus, they understand that the information that they're putting out is very vital to you as a person, because at the end of the day, it determines, like I said, whether you get a house, whether you get a car. A lot of people utilize credit, and if you did mess it up, it can always be repaired. So there's many strategies and things that you can do to really get negative items removed off of your credit profile. So, if you did maybe default on a loan, let's say you were making payments and something happened, an emergency, and you weren't able to continue making those payments, that account will soon go into collections from not being paid. And then, it'll be disputed from that point. But it really goes into, a vault basically, where the debtors, they pay for that debt. Or I'm sorry, the collection agencies, they pay for your debt with pennies on the dollar, and you can actually settle that collection amount for lower than you might actually owe on it. So it's
Oh
really,
wow.
yeah, you can really settle those. So if something falls into collections, let's say you defaulted on a phone bill or something like that, and it was in collections, and you might have owed, let's say, $300. Well, after it falls in collections, you have two options. If they're gonna call and they're gonna beg you to pay that, obviously your amount that you owe. But once it's in collections, it has affected your credit score and it has really brought it down. But they actually sold that debt to another agency, and their job is to come after you and get the remainder of the payment. But they might have bought that debt for, let's say, if you owe 300, they might have bought it for 150. Their job is to still come after you and get the three, but they only paid 150 for your debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So you're able to really get things removed by either paying, working a settlement out with those collection agencies. You can maybe pay that 150 and get it removed completely, but you want to get that in writing so they can actually get those things removed off your credit profile. But yeah, there's so many tricks and strategies to removing negative items off of your credit profile. And not only that, but say you establish a credit profile and you have an old address associated with your current credit profile. Well, you can actually reach out to the credit bureaus and the agencies and get updated on all of your current information so that you have no old addresses or anything like that. And what that does is it updates your profile, but then it also disassociates any of those old negative or bad credited accounts to you. So you can actually dispute them, and then they have no trace of any old addresses or anything like that on your profile. So their objective has to be to remove those items off of your credit profile. It's by law. So, you can actually get those things removed just by updating your current profile information. Yeah.
What? See, y'all, listen, y'all take it in because I didn't know that. And I remember when I was in college, I was talking to a woman, she was trying to help me with my credit. And she was like trying to get stuff removed off of it that was not necessarily needing to be there. Because I guess sometimes there'll be stuff on your credit that's not supposed to be there, I guess, but they go through and they help you filter that.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so a lot of things can get misconstrued whenever you go and apply for car loans. Little do people know, sometimes when you go to apply for certain car loans with certain, off-brand dealerships or whatever, they'll run your credit score to about 20 different lenders to see if you can get approved for that loan. Well, that requires a whole bunch of inquiries, and those actually have to be removed because some credit lenders will not even lend to you if you have too many inquiries. So,
wow.
yeah, so much with credit. But it's very vital that, us as, not only African American, individuals, but us as entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, know this stuff ahead of time, so that we can avoid certain traps,
Yeah.
that is put in the system for people that are uneducated. I would just say,
Yeah.
it's a lot of traps out there, so be careful.
That's why I think this is important right here, what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because I can honestly say I didn't really care too much about credit. I just kind of brushed it off because I didn't care about the importance of it. But now that I'm older and there's a lot of things I want to do, I'm like, oh, I gotta get my credit score together. But there's so much, we just have to apply ourselves.
Right.
And it's not really pushed to be as important when you're in school and high school and stuff like that. College is more of like what they push, but they don't really push this type of stuff. So that's why I think we should take this serious. If we want to own businesses, if we want to own properties, if we want to just have, have more life, I think it stops us when we don't know about this type of stuff. So
That's
kind of stunts us. So I think that yeah, this is good. So let me ask you, what are some positive attributes about owning a business? And are there any negative attributes? Like, is there anything negative or challenging about it? Or what can you tell us about that?
Okay, so some positive attributes I would say is being able to, take those deductions that I had mentioned about earlier. Being able to put on the hat of an entrepreneur and create, product or service, yes, but being able to, also include those expenses. It kind of seems like, the government is working for us in a sense, as to where they're allowing us to write off these expenses as deductions towards what we earned as earned income, right? So
Mhm.
when you can actually take advantage of spending money, it becomes sort of a strategic thing rather than, just spending money carelessly, but you're spending money to expand your business. So it becomes a business expense, which becomes a tax write-off, which allows more money to be in your pocket during tax time, which is where a lot of people lose money, right? Because when you're working a 9 to 5, people little do they know, that's one of the highest taxed incomes, is earned income. So, being an
Wow.
entrepreneur, you're able to take those deductions and minimize how much you're actually being taxed. And that's how
Wow.
the rich stay wealthy, because they take advantage of these loopholes and these strategies, to be able to maximize on, um, tax deductions and things like that. So yeah, so I would say, some positives of having a business and running a business is being able to take those tax deductions. Obviously, you have a lot of, trials and tribulations that come with being an entrepreneur as well. So I would say I want to say a negative, but just one of the things that, is hard about being an entrepreneur is being able to manage all of it. You know,
Mm.
especially if you're not being able to delegate those tasks. In my lawn care business, I have, two other employees that help me, and I can delegate different tasks, to them. One might be weed whacking, one might be mowing the lawn, or one might be running the blower for cleanup, etc. But when it comes to, the financial aspect of it, it's up to me to really go out, manage the different credit cards, make sure I'm staying on top of under 30% utilization, things like that. So it's a lot of management that goes into, um, you know, managing the money, but it's a good problem to have, I would say, being able to, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's like you have to make sure this is something that you want, but I also think that management is a whole nother video as well, because managing, yeah, you have to be able to manage. So many people go into things obliviously, not realizing that you have to be able to handle everything that you're putting out there.
Right.
So that's good though. I didn't really think that there was anything negative about it, but I want to hear, everyone's perspective. Do you
Mhm.
have your hard days?
Yeah, definitely have my hard days. Definitely have my
Yeah.
hard days. Some days you feel like, throwing in that towel, man. You get them days where you feel like throwing in the towel. Something, maybe an investment went wrong, and I've had talks about this, with some of the guys in my team, where,
Yeah.
every day our objective is to want to be able to promote our business and share and tell somebody about what we have going on, share our services. And, you're not always going to get leads, or you're not always going to get business. Some days it might be dry, but some days it will rain. So, I'm grateful for those days, and, just got to take the punches when they come. So.
Yeah, so when you have days like that, what do you tell yourself? You don't just go break everything in the house. What
Oh,
what do you do? What do
yeah.
you do when you're just so frustrated?
So I have a foundation and I have a source, and I will say that, which is God.
Yeah.
He's definitely been, the root of everything that I do. Um, our slogan for Kennedy's Lawn Care is "God grows it, we mow it." And
Wow.
yeah, actually, I grew up in the ministry. My parents always took me to church. Our local neighborhood. We grew up knowing about God and knowing about, the scripture, knowing about Jesus, and that, he died for our sins and everything like that. And, it really helps me in a lot of different times where you might not think that, um, that's where the source or the strength came from, but that is where it came from. Just,
Hmm.
growing up in that environment and hearing, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and
Yeah.
different, different songs and hymns that might come back to my mind whenever I was going through a tough time, or, whatever it might have been. But those are defining moments that allow me to keep going, to where I
Mhm.
got to this point now, you know, being able to still share a platform and be able to speak about God and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely I would say, you know, that is my crutch, you know, being able to go into my quiet time, talk to God and really, you know, pour out to him. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know, I'm not like the
Right.
most religious person here or anything
We're,
like that, but I do have a relationship with God and I do believe that that is the source of all my strength for sure.
I think that's amazing. Because we all need God. It doesn't matter if we don't want to believe it or not. He is the source to everything. I was like, when I was watching your YouTube videos, I was like, oh, he prays me. That is awesome. You pray before you do your videos. And I was like, that's really dope. Because he really is the source, and you're showing that you're putting him first. You know, he comes first before what you do. And I don't think we realize, like, you can be fighting on the inside and God will give you that peace, especially on them days where you say you're feeling like, you know, when you want to throw the towel in.
Mm-hmm.
Those days, he'll definitely give you that peace and he'll lead and guide you, but he'll bless what you're doing when you put him first. So I think that's a great thing. You're on the right road. We're not perfect, none of us are, but at
Mm-hmm.
least you have a relationship with him, and that's great. And you don't know who's watching you. So
Mm-hmm.
people can be wanting to get close to him as well, just watching you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Um, I think I asked you that. Let me see. Wait, when did you Okay, so when did you start getting more into finances? Because I know you said you have a lawn care business. So when did you start getting into finances?
So I got into finances when I realized, well, I'm gonna need a truck, you know.
Yeah.
um, so I started thinking about, you know, how was I going to be able to expand my business without, because I started off, I did have a vehicle. I had a Cobalt, and I got to the point where I was putting my lawnmower in the back of the Cobalt, and I'm like, wow, you know, I got to make it work, but like
Yeah.
this can't be for an extended period of time. This doesn't look professional, et cetera, right? So I had to figure out how I was going to acquire my truck. And whenever I went to go acquire the truck, I had to have credit. So in order
Mhm.
to get the loan that they wanted to give me for the truck that was 5,000, which I still have the truck to this day, but it really opened up my eyes to being you know, on the financial side of things and taking
Yeah.
you know, getting my credit score and everything together. And that's what really opened up my eyes to even more. Wow, you need credit to get a car, you need credit to get a house. This is one of the main things that I should be focusing on right here. So that's what really, you know, took my focus from actively doing the lawn care thing to now I'm doing the lawn care thing with the mindset behind it. I got to still use this money to flow through my business so I can create a good credit score to where they'll be able to lend me more money in the future so I can expand even more later on down the road. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's such a great start. Oh my gosh. I'm just listening to you. I'm like, I wish I would have been doing all this stuff a long time ago. But you know, I didn't really care about it. But I'm just like, this is important. But that's good you realize that, because like I was saying before, there's a blockage. You can only go so far until you're like, I gotta learn. Yeah, I need credit for that. I need credit for this, you know. So guys, we should really like get into that. We should all learn about credit.
Right.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I was going to ask you, do you think a person can get rich off of one income, or do you feel like they have to have multiple incomes to really get, you know, have a big amount of money, a massive amount of money?
Yeah. Well, so I I believe in, you know, really just utilizing your money smart. You know,
Yeah.
it's good to actively hustle and bustle and go out and be the one to put in the sweat work and, you know, generate that income because you're in the sales field and you're getting familiar with that, and that becomes a skill that you can carry on with you. But um, really just diving into, you know, your your business and everything like that. It's just um how would I say? Okay, so okay, rephrase the question again. You could ask.
Okay, so a lot of people, I listen to a lot of interviews and learning about finances, and
Yeah,
I hear a lot of people say that you need to have multiple streams of income to actually become rich, to
right,
like have a lot of money. Do you
right.
feel like you can just have one income, like, or do you feel like you need more?
You can get rich having one stream of income, but I would say the average millionaire has at least 7 streams of income. So I think it's very important to have multiple streams, right? Being able to manage credit is like one income stream in itself because you're acquiring more capital over a long period of time. And then two, let's say me personally, I'm doing my lawn care business, but what happens if it rains or it goes out of season? Well, I
Right.
also have in the back end, I have investments in my stock portfolio where I'm looking at different companies on a daily basis or what the stock market is doing, being educated on that as well. So I know, okay, my money sitting in the bank is only earning me 0.1% interest on my money. So I know
Wow.
that on the back end of things, if I invest in the stock market and invest in these companies, it has a lot more potential to go more than 0.01% interest on an average basis. So, being able to have those multiple streams of income is going to put you at a place where you're not relying on one stream.
Right.
That's the main thing. It's not really about acquiring so many. It's just about not relying on one.
Right. I
Because
feel you on that one.
yeah.
So do you have any future goals for your business right now? Anything new coming up or
Yeah, so we do t-shirts.
okay?
We create a lot of t-shirts. So I created on my website. We also have like a branding sort of thing where, for other entrepreneurs, if you guys are interested or anybody that you might know might be thinking of some sort of t-shirt that they might want to put on. I started with doing things for my church and my local community. And then not only that, but I needed shirts for my lawn care business as well.
Yeah.
I got into creating t-shirts. So we do t-shirts. We have a young CEO brand, for young entrepreneurs. Obviously, the young CEO.
Okay.
So yeah, we call ourselves the young CEOs, and it's a lot of young entrepreneurs, like I had mentioned. Um, Awesome group. We plan on doing like events and stuff like that where we can all get together, you know, play pool or something like that. Things that we can do
Yeah.
collectively to still make it fun. But what you can actually do is you can meet and you can talk about business, and then you can actually write those expenses off as a business event.
Wow.
Right, right. So, it's really a networking thing, and being able to network with other like-minded individuals, keep us all on our P's and Q's, and still striving, being a part of a community, like a buddy support system definitely helps.
Yeah.
So I would say, we got a lot of new merch going to be coming out, even more merch coming out. And then
Okay.
also we're coming up with events, like I had mentioned, and we'll be doing, just a lot of just more calls like these, teaching
Yeah,
people
yeah.
about credit, teaching people about entrepreneurship. Like I had mentioned, we have our course. So on our website, we sell a course and we sell a membership. The membership, you get access to the group and everything like that, all the videos, the content, live. We do live calls twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time PM. But this week has been kind of trying. We had a lot of COVID stuff going on, and it's just been really, really crazy. But we're going to definitely be praying about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very crazy time. We might be in the last and evil days, but we keep
Yeah.
on looking to the hills from which cometh our help.
That's right.
But yeah, so we got a lot coming out. Definitely stay tuned. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Investor Gadget. I drop a lot of different tips, motivation, daily motivation, stuff like that, even on my Facebook as well. Trying to, just keep the people encouraged, keep the people informed. My goal is to really impact and educate 1 million people plus in my generation, my lifetime. So, I want to be able to impact as many people as I can, sharing not only Christ that's in me, but sharing, financial literacy and teaching people, entrepreneurship and things like that. So
Yeah, no, I believe this. You know how in the Bible it says you're supposed to give to the poor, you're supposed to give back.
mm,
Even giving your knowledge is a part of that. Like, this is free stuff right here. So no one has to pay for this. This is some good stuff that you can learn.
mhm,
Yeah, all your everything that like all your Instagram, your YouTube, all that, just send me the links and I'll put them in my description so they can see that as well for your website, all that. One more question before we go.
Yes.
So if you had $6 million, you hit the lottery for $6 million, what would you do with it?
Oh, if I hit the
The 6 million.
6 million. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Set. I'm investing in real estate properties, which is one of the best asset classes that you can invest in. You can borrow against real estate if you did not know that at like the lowest interest, even lower.
Borrow.
Yeah, you can borrow. It's called a home equity line of credit. So you can actually use your house as a lending tool. So, you can go to the bank with a good credit score. And after you purchase this property, let's say you purchase it flat out in cash, you can actually borrow against that house and get your capital back and invest in another house. Now you will still have a mortgage on, obviously, that house.
Yeah.
You can set that mortgage at like a 30-year interest rate, like 0.03% interest. That's really cheap money. And then you can take that money and leverage it into other assets. And let's say you bought another house for maybe 50 and you were renting it out. It's making cash flow. It's paying itself off basically. You just do it again, rinse and repeat. So
wow.
Yeah, real estate's the way to go long term. If you can get your foot in the door, which I was able to, like I said, 15,000 into this property. I have a good credit score. We'll be able to take a loan out on this property for the amount, it's about 80% of the value of the house. So if this house appraised for 100K, I can take out at least 80,000 to be able to, at like 3% interest, to be able to leverage into other whatever else I got going on. If I'm doing more lawn care, if I want to find some more properties, maybe some multifamilies, which is the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 6 million, or was it 600 million or 6 million?
6 million.
Oh,
so you're gonna go on you're not gonna go on vacation or nothing? You're not going.
I might use some of it to go on vacation. Definitely, I definitely want to travel the world and live my best life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely gonna go on some trips, buy some real estate, make sure my family is set long term.
Yeah.
Money in the stock portfolio, having that generating dividends on a annual basis too. So I'd have my money set to where I'm never going broke ever again.
I know that's right.
To worry about it. Yes.
Yeah, so. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really not about how much you get, but it's about what you do with the money. And that's what
I'm right.
Leave the people with, because if you have the education behind getting that 600 million, you can do a lot of great things. And sometimes all it takes is that life-changing experience to happen, and you having the education behind it to be able to put the funds where they need to be, and that's generational wealth for you and your family. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Just like I was asking Topaz yesterday in the live, I asked her the same thing. And you guys have business minds. So that was the same thing. She's like, I'm going to invest, which is a great thing, because we just, like you were saying at the beginning, how people want to buy Jordans and just buy the things that they want. And this stuff is not going to help you in the future, so that's a great type of mentality to have. But that was the end of my question. So if you have anything else that you want to tell us before we go, you can, or are you done?
Never give up. Always do your best, never give up. And that's one thing that, I want to stress to the people, because had I would have gave up, getting up early, my objective is to get up early, do the best that I can do within that day. If you can win the day enough times, then you'll win the week. If you win the week enough times, then you'll win the month. And if you win the month 12 times, then you win the year. And if you continue doing that, you'll make history. So
I love that. I never heard that before. That has to be a quote. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here and you know, helping me with my little project because I've never done interviews, but you know, I'm trying something new. So I do appreciate you for giving them gems, them nuggets, and I just thank you. And hopefully more people will follow you. So guys, make sure you guys subscribe to his channel, on his YouTube channel, because he has a lot. You can learn a lot on there as well.
Yeah.
And everything else that you have going on will be in the description below, and they'll follow you. They can go on the website and stuff like that. But thank you again.
Yeah, perfect. And you know, one last thing I do want to say, I really commend you on doing this, and having these different sessions where you can really, you know, experience other entrepreneurs and, you know, really get that platform to be able to speak and be able to promote our businesses and things like that, because
Yeah.
you know there's not a lot of people doing that for us. And you know it's hard enough as it is to be able to market, it's hard enough as it is to be
Yeah.
able to get, you know, the word of mouth out there. But you know it's nice that other entrepreneurs are out there creating, you know, platforms like this to be able to bring us all together where we can share and we can grow together and experience, you know, entrepreneurship together. So this is going to be a great call. I know we'll get a lot of views.
Yeah.
YouTube is one of those things where, you know, I love it because you can actually, you know, go in there, provide a lot of value, and you know you get actually paid by YouTube for the views. So you know that's where
Yeah.
like, let YouTube pay me, and I'll give you guys the free value, or you get, you know,
There
we
you go.
free value. So, but yeah, you know, you're doing an awesome thing. Keep up the good work. Looking to see
Thank you.
more calls, or you know, more of you and experience your entrepreneurship and your journey as well. I'll be keeping tabs on your YouTube channel to see who else you bring across the platform and see what kind of stuff they got to bring as well. So definitely stay tuned to her, you guys, and follow me on Instagram, YouTube as well. And let's make history.
Yep, I have a lot more coming. I have like maybe a couple more interviews so far, but we will be talking about like mental health and childhood trauma and stuff like that. So if you're into that type of stuff, you can definitely tune in next week. It'll be on there. So
Yeah, yep. I'm ready.
all right. Well, thank you so much again. And thank you for your knowledge, and God bless you. And I know that you're going to make it far. You're very hungry. You're very determined. I can tell by the first YouTube video. So, oh, look at him. Your presence is there. You know, you're not shy. You're not timid. So God bless you, man. I hope you go very far.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.